Hey y'all, what's good? You know what I'm saying? How y'all doing today? Boop, 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 okay. That's not my best Cardi B impersonation, but anywho. So welcome to the video. First and foremost, if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Definitely hit a like. Give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Let me know how we're doing. You know what I'm saying? What type of stuff y'all want to see us try? Okay, so on this video, we are going to make my family's world famous cinnamon rolls. Well, actually, it's my dad's world famous cinnamon roll recipe. I was watching the mukbang sisters, and they did a video on their family traditions or what have you, and what they typically eat on the holidays or during Christmas. And one thing that we always had were cinnamon rolls, and I try to keep that tradition alive here in my home. So I am going to walk you guys through how to make these cinnamon rolls. All right, stay tuned. All right, so the first thing we want to do here is we are going to bring 2.5 cups of milk with a 1/2 cup of sugar and a teaspoon of salt. We are going to bring that to a boil. I've got and I'm using almond milk. I stopped drinking cow's milk not now, a while ago. So we are going to put this in here, and my apologies, my hand may be a little unsteady. I'm going to try to remain as coordinated as I can possibly be. And that's a little food. Try to be really careful so I can seal that. I'm going to put the 1/2 cup after I put the sugar in there. Sugar. And actually, the recipe, he told me 1/4 of a cup, but I think we always put more sugar than what we need. So, nothing wrong with that. And then I am going to, bear with me for a second. I'm going to have to get a big thing of milk. I get so this is the milk that we typically just use like for drinking, and like I get sweetened for drinking, but then I get the unsweetened for cooking and stuff. Yeah, so, but it's alright if I happen to use the sweetened for cooking. Alright, so the trick with this, if you ever tried to boil milk, you gotta watch. You gotta watch, because it will, once it starts boiling, it will flow over your pan if you are not paying attention. And it happens like in the blink of an eye. And it has happened to me before. That is why I'm saying something. So we're just I'm stirring it. I'm gonna stop stirring it. Well, no, maybe I'm still stirring. But you just want to bring this to a boil, and then after we bring this to a boil, we're gonna let it sit, let it cool down. We want it to be warm when we add it to our yeast. Alright, so as you see, it's boiling. It's probably going to start boiling over there, so you want to take it off real quick. Otherwise, it will be a disaster. And so that's hot, and we're going to let that cool down, like I said, for about 20 minutes, I believe. Well, you can check it after 20 minutes, and that's not an exact science. I've had it, like, cooling down for, like, I've just, like, set it and forget it, you know. Alright, so I'll be back.
What up, y'all?
All right, what's going on, y'all? Okay, so it's been a little bit longer than 20 minutes, but the mixture is just right, just warm enough. So I've got 3 packets of like a whole pack. This comes like the whole thing, or what have you, if you get it from the store. So this is some yeast, and I put it in this bowl because I'm just gonna mix this and my eggs up. So to the yeast, you want to add 1/4 cup of warm water. You don't want it to be too, it's got to be warm. It's got to be warm enough to where it can activate the yeast, but not too hot to where it'll kill it. And this is probably the most important part, because you'll know if you activated your yeast, and your dough will rise if you do this part right. Okay, so I'm gonna go get the water. All right, so we got 1/4 cup of water here. I'm just gonna add it to the yeast, and I'm gonna mix it in.
smells like oatmeal.
Yeah, it does kind of smell like oatmeal, I guess. Now, I did this experiment with yeast when I was younger. It was actually pretty cool. Alright, so then do that. I don't think that, I don't know, I hope my water was warm enough. You want to put your 3 eggs in here and beat them together. I got a little shell in there. Whoops. I don't think that I don't think my yeast activated. Crap. All right, we're gonna just beat the eggs into the yeast. Like I said, so your eggs need to be room temperature, and
what does room temperature mean?
Room temperature means that it's not cold. They're not fresh out the microwave. So I typically take them out about 2-3 hours before I start making them. I've had these eggs have been out probably like 3 hours before I started this process. All right, so I'm just going to transfer this into here.
And then what do you do with it in there?
Can you go give me a spoon, please? Actually, never mind. I got it.
No, I'll do it.
I got it.
Oh, you already got a spoon. I thought she got a spoon. I'm like, that's a fork. Why do I think there's a spoon? A fork is a spoon.
All right, I gotta get all my yeast out of here because we need that.
Why do you need to get all the yeast out? Because it won't be completed.
The yeast is what helps the dough rise. If you don't got the yeast in there, then your dough ain't gonna rise.
Look at that.
All right, so hopefully you can see that in there, and then I'm just gonna get all my yeast out of here.
It's not gonna take long.
I think it did activate. All right, and then you want to add your 2 sticks of butter in there.
Like the butter, we have butter on pancakes mostly every day.
Gavin.
Pancakes.
Shush. Okay, you're doing a lot of talking.
Can I help?
Yes, you are going to help on the next part. All right, so then you just kind of mix this around in there. All right, so let that in there, and then too high. Okay, and then this is when we pour our milk mixture, and then you add this in here. Okay, and just gonna mix that around a little bit, just a tad. You really don't need to do a whole lot because you're about to add your dry ingredients in here. All right, so this is where I'm gonna need help from my helper here.
What am I gonna have to do?
Okay, so they might taste like a little bit of chocolate. The last time I used this, I used it to sift some cocoa powder. So, all right, so I want you to hold this over this thing like this. All right, so you're gonna use like 7.5 cups of flour altogether, but you're gonna add them, you can add them like 2 and 3 at a time.
Wow.
So, and you definitely want to put it through a sifter. You don't want any clumps in your flour.
Wow, I've never done this before.
So I'm gonna add 2 cups at a time here. It doesn't really have to be like totally accurate, like talking about put the flour on there, do like that. We don't gotta do all that. All right, and then we're gonna hold it like that, and then we're gonna put this on and mix it up a little bit. We'll mix that in, and then we'll add 2 more cups. I always like to have a spatula because with the with your mixer, stuff gets stuck on the sides, so make sure all that stuff gets mixed in there. Okay. Alright, so hold on, so I'm stuck on the sides here. Sorry, I tried to get like the best angle that I could. Now you do not have to use, if you do not have a KitchenAid, it is not a big deal. I've actually done these by hand before because I didn't even have a hand mixer. So it is not a deal breaker if you don't have a KitchenAid, okay? I just happen to get one because people know that how much I love kitchen appliances, and so I think I got my KitchenAid last. Stop.
Okay.
As you can see, it gets quite messy here.
That's really hard.
Give it here.
Because like once you get it in there, like that part, you should have told me to do that.
It is kind of difficult to try and put this in here with the hook right there. And I'm definitely not taking the hook off like every time. So if you don't have one of these sifter things, I got this from Walmart and I got it years ago, like the first year that like my dad taught me how to make these on my own. Like I
so that means I wasn't born yet.
No, you were born.
Oh.
So I've got it years ago, and it's still in good. You see, it's still in pretty good condition. But that's because I literally keep it in this plastic bag. This is probably the plastic bag that I used when I first got it, and I don't ever wet it because then it'll rust. And you definitely don't want any rust on there. Okay, so I don't know how it's gonna work out, but
what?
You don't need to know because you will not be pressing buttons. All right, so then gonna let that. I will say that probably I got it. That having this mixer definitely is it makes it a little bit easier. Having a mixer, period, because the year that I did it by hand, like you definitely work out your arm muscles, that's for sure. But I mean, obviously people were doing, they were doing it before, people came up with all these inventions, so.
Ooh.
And if you do it with a hand mixer, of course you want to use your dough hook.
What is a dough hook?
A dough hook is this.
But it looks like that is plastic.
Well, it's not. Okay, how many is that? That was 4?
Yes. Only 4.
All right, so we need so I will typically like add the 6th, and then I will knead the 7th into the dough. But we will see. We will put 7 in there and then knead the 1/2 cup into the dough. So we'll see what we need to do. You can tell once you do it often enough, you can see like what your dough is looking like and know if you need to, how much flour, if you need to add more flour by the time you get to the 7th one or not. So we're gonna see. Yeah, and we're wearing like red. Tried to do a little Christmas theme.
Yeah, we actually are.
But Mommy,
how did I do?
Really good. Except for you got, what is that on there?
Sorry. But why do you never wash it?
Because if I wash it, it will rust.
And what does rust mean? I probably know what rust means, but I just don't remember.
Alright, so that's 6. And we'll see what it's looking like after this 6. And my dad, he's had his little sifting cup.
I wish I could eat it right now.
He's probably had his since before I was born, really. Alright, yes, that's looking good.
It is looking like yellow.
You can see it. All right, and then we're gonna. Oh, I thought I turned it off. All right, we are. See that dough is getting real good there. I am going to go ahead and add the 7th. Just hold it over here. Just hold it just like right here. I'm going to go ahead and add the 7th. Gavin.
Sorry. This is a good actually angle. It's a really good angle.
In here, and then so we're just mixing it in the mixer, and then we're going to take it out and put it on the table, and we're going to like knead the dough, work your dough a little bit, and then after that we're going to put it in a pot, and we're going to let the dough rise. Okay. And I forgot to mention that this video was requested by someone who, when I did my Thanksgiving video, I had some rolls, and she was like, "Well, the next time you make them, can you do a video on it?"
Oh yeah.
And now I didn't make those rolls, but this dough will taste just like those rolls. I actually got them store bought. The rolls that I had on Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, it's good.
It's looking really good, isn't it?
Alright, so I am going to put this on the table, right? So that's probably like, I mean, it's probably not it's definitely, I just kind of eyeballed it, but all we had left to do is a half a cup. But once you
I'm gonna probably love this video. And today we're going to make some potatoes again.
So then we're gonna take our dough. Don't you touch it.
Okay.
This is the part where you just sit there and watch. All right. So this is the dough we got in here, and we're really just gonna work it. We're gonna knead that half a cup into the dough. Okay. And the dough shouldn't be like, it should be formed. It shouldn't be too sticky. Like if it's sticking to the table still, then you know that you are probably definitely still going to need a little bit some more flour. I mean, this dough feels really good.
And I can smell it.
So, as I was saying, the bread that you typically get, like if it says, some rolls that you just throw in the oven, this bread recipe, or this recipe, my family actually uses. My dad uses this recipe to make the cinnamon rolls as well as make that bread, and it's very simple. But you're just working the dough. And my apologies, I haven't been looking at the camera, so I hope that you saw me kneading this the whole time. And I think that I may add just a little bit more flour.
Oh.
You want?
Whoa!
Oop, getting stuff all over the place, but I don't really know why we do this, but that's what my dad does, so I'm going to do it too. But you're just working it, And I should have,
in my eye.
Is it? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I could have warned him.
You really could have.
Are you alright? You alright, man. At least it wasn't no hot sauce.
Hot sauce is worse.
I know. That's why I said at least it wasn't hot sauce. Alright, we want to get all that flour. We're just kneading the dough, Yeah. Watch, close your eyes. I'm gonna have a little mess to clean up on the floor. Oh yeah, this dough is like perfect. Now, how you know, or really know your dough, you did a good job, is if the dough rises. Now, if the dough don't rise, then it's like, the dough didn't rise. But you'll see, I will say what I typically say when I find out that my dough rose. And even my dad, like, as many years as he's been making these, he's still, you know, it's a hit or miss. Like, we don't know whether that dough gonna rise or not. All right, so then the next thing you want to do, you got a pan. You ain't eat it, did you? That's disgusting, Gavin.
Yeah, but it was good.
All right, so the pan, you want to get a pan to put your dough in, and you want to grease it. I've just got some olive oil cooking spray, and you just want to spray it so that when you know when the dough rises, it doesn't stick in here. Okay, and then you just put your dough in here, like so. You want to get a towel, cover it. We typically always just put it on the stove. You can put it wherever you want. Excuse me. You definitely want to make sure that you don't let any cold air into your place. You want it to be warm so that the warmth helps the dough rise. Or in any event, just make sure that the dough, like for example, our kitchen back home was in like by the back door. You came in through the kitchen, so we always just made sure that whoever came through the door made sure that it closed really quickly so that you didn't let all the warm air out, because your dough needs the warm air to rise. All right, so probably gonna let this rise really high, and then we'll be back to forming cinnamon rolls and all that good stuff. But I'm gonna clean up some stuff while the dough is rising. So we'll see you back here in a bit. It's alive. That's what I typically say, or the dead has arisen. Once the dough has risen to my liking, and I think this is good enough, so we are going to look at that. That's what I didn't ruin my yeast, guys. It's a good thing. Okay, so be right back. Gonna go back to the table and roll it out and do some things. All right, good people. So we're back. So now back up. We are going to roll the dough out. Okay, so first you want to get some more flour on the table, and I mean I could have rolled I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You're going to get to help. So when I was like I did that final cup, like back off, you got to get off the table, because the dough is going to be on the table. That final like half a cup of flour, I definitely could have sifted that as well, but I didn't. But I mean, it didn't make a difference. It's not gonna make or break anything. Okay, so you want to put this on the table. Then you also want to be melting 2 sticks of butter. Okay. And while that is melting, so here's the dough. You're gonna just plop that out on the table like that. You are going to have a rolling pin. I'm gonna do this part, okay? Trust me, you about to get to help. You're gonna help me put the stuff on here. All right. And we are just going to make sure that your rolling pin has enough flour on there so it doesn't stick to the rolling pin. So you want to roll this out into this big long thing.
I mean, can I see the whole thing?
I know. I'm gonna be able to see at least some of it, but yeah, because of where we're filming, you will not be able to see the whole thing, but you'll get the gist of it. Okay.
Okay.
So you kind of you don't want to roll it out too thin, but you want to roll it out okay. So I think this is, you don't want it to be too thin. I would say probably like, I don't know what I want to say, like a couple inches thick, maybe like 1 or 2, probably 2 inches thick, I want to say. And then
well, that's
and I'm gonna have to
2 inches.
Oh well, I'm gonna have to vacuum. All right, so probably as thin as you would make some pizza dough, like normal pizza dough. Okay. All right, so that is that, like that. Then I got my butter here. It doesn't matter if it's still warm, it's totally fine. You are gonna grease this whole thing. Okay.
Okay.
You want every inch of this thing to have some butter on it.
Okay.
Because you want your cinnamon and sugar, you want that to be able to stick to this. So that's why you want to make sure you get a nice. So butter is totally melted. You can use whatever kind. This is just a type of, I don't even know what you call this thing. This brush. Oh, I guess it's a brush. This is just the type I have. My dad actually had like a pastry brush, but I like this one better because it's easier to clean up. Basically, it's just easier to clean. You know, with the paint like brushes, those you have like barbecue residue on there. I told you it's gonna help me with the toppings. Want next, so this is just a cinnamon sugar mixture, and you're just gonna put this on here. I mean, very liberal. I mean, put it you want a whole lot because you want it to be sweet. Okay, so now I didn't measure how much I put in here, but I'm gonna just ballpark and say I probably put about 3 cups of sugar in here, and about 1/3 of the bottle of cinnamon in here. You can use as little or as much as you want. We very liberal. I mean, this is supposed to be like a decadent sweet treat. If you run out, it's okay because it's very easy to make more cinnamon and sugar.
Wait, you mix cinnamon with there and sugar?
Yep. And you when you mix this, you want walnuts, but this year I think I forget what he used, but he is always changing up something. So you want to grab them with your hands, sprinkle them around. And you really want a whole bunch everywhere because you want to be able to taste all the toppings. Spread some out. I mean, like, don't put it all in one spot. Spread it out. You want to be able to taste the toppings in every bite, Okay, gonna put some raisins.
Trying to tear all the raisins apart.
Ain't that serious? Just put them on there.
So still some good raisins.
All right, I think that's enough raisins.
No, not enough.
No, it is. You can eat those.
Oh, I can eat it.
All right, so then our next thing is you want to roll it to the straightest end. So this end is you can't really see the other end, but the other end is straighter, so I'm going to roll it that way. Well, actually I kind of want to roll it this way. And you want to roll it long ways, whichever way is going to give you the longest way, because you want, that's how many you're going to get. Like, all right, so we're going to roll. And ironically, I was just on Facebook and I saw a recipe. Guy Fieri was at a place, probably, Diners, Divers, and Dives, and they were making pecan rolls. Same sort of method that I took here in making these cinnamon rolls, which was actually pretty cool. So you're just gonna roll it. Okay, and it's okay. You're probably gonna get all type of stuff all over the place, but that's why we're gonna clean it up. You kind of want to roll it a little tight, but it doesn't have to be too tight. I'm gonna try to bring it back over here so you can see that it's gonna be like a big little log. Might not be able to though, so I'm gonna move the camera so you can see. All right. So then our next thing is you want to get all right, our next thing, you want to get a baking sheet. Okay. I cannot remember if I'm supposed to spray the baking sheet, and I've literally been thinking about this whole time. I think I'm gonna just spray it with this. It's cooking spray and flour. Okay. So then you want to, where'd it go? Next, you want to get some string, so you can either do floss or a piece of yarn. I'm gonna try the yarn first. Usually this yarn is pretty thin, so it breaks on me, but we're gonna try it. And you just lift it, you put it under the edge, and you slice it off like that, and then you got your first little piece. And usually it's always some type of crumbs. Let's see, so I can see.
Take me to the movies, please. Oh, I've got a Days and Buster Scott idea.
Gavin. All right, peace out, Gavin. Your work is done. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome.
So then,
what is that supposed to do?
you really, and if it's okay if they don't if they come unrolled, you can just roll them back again.
What are you doing with it?
And I usually just if I see any excess stuff on the table, I kind of just try to put it in there in the rolls.
Pokebuns.
Sorry, I can't really move the log.
Gotta get your Pokebuns.
So my apologies about the angle of the baking sheet, but of course I will let you see it once I get them all on here. They look crazy right now, but don't you worry. Gavin, you can't do that while I'm making a video. I'm gonna have to, but this is what this first baking sheet looks like. I think that I'm going to have to get another. I'm gonna try to get this last one on here, and then I'm gonna have to get the other one over there. And depending on how big or small you cut them, that's how many cinnamon rolls you'll have. So this is the first baking sheet. That's all we got. 3 pans. So I'm gonna let these rise and put them in the oven. And yeah. All right. So the last thing we want to do, I typically do this while. Pardon me. All right. So the last thing we want to do, and I do this while they are cooking. You want to make the icing to go on here. Now, I think one year my dad used cream cheese, but I don't know if I ever tasted those. What I needed to get the. So, I mean, I probably could just use this whole thing, really. Because once you put the milk in there, I'm just gonna put the whole thing.
I always like stirring. I can watch.
But once you put the milk in there, it's gonna kind of, condense down. I probably should have got more cream cheese. I mean, some more powdered sugar, to be honest. TBH. Because I don't think I have any more up in my cabinet. And when you ice the cinnamon rolls, you want to be real liberal. Now this is the flavoring of your thing there, so you want to put a whole bunch. You want to put enough milk, but you don't want to put too much. You want this to be sort of thick. Okay.
Can I help you with this?
I'm gonna do it. Gavin, I told you before I turn the video on that you was just gonna watch. Okay, so I understand you want to help, and I thank you for always wanting to be so helpful, but mommy's got it, okay? Don't you worry, your time is coming. Now we are just waiting on, oh, there we go. So it kind of looks like that, okay? And like I said, you probably saw the little clumps in there, and that's totally fine. All right, now we're just waiting a couple more minutes for those to rise, and then we'll pop in the oven, and then ice these babies up, and
then we're gonna make some
then we'll eat
tacos.
them. All right, so this is what they're looking like right now. Letting them rise up a little. Ooh, those are really huge. And then once they get finished rising, gonna pop those in the oven, and yeah, put some icing on them. The last thing we're gonna do, very last thing, okay, we're just gonna take our icing and we're gonna drizzle it all over. And I'm gonna do it. And we want to be very, okay, here. You want to be very generous on each one, okay?
Okay, very generous. Help me, please.
We're just gonna each one.
Oh, now I see.
I got it. I'm gonna do it. All right, and that's it, y'all. That is it, and that is all. We're gonna cut. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to our little Christmas tradition video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Definitely don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you get notifications the next time we post a video. I hope everyone has had an awesome holiday, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.